Hey everyone, it's your girl Monica Leigh, and welcome back to another episode of the Drive Thru. If you are new to the podcast, thank you so much for pulling up and joining us. And for all of you that have been here from the beginning, thank you so much. So let's just get into it because I have a question. When exactly does it happen? And I know what you're thinking, Monica, what are you talking about? So again, when exactly do you officially become your parents? Because nobody warns you. There's no ceremony. There is no type of email. There's no actual notification that says, congratulations, you have officially reached the age where everything your parents used to say that annoyed the heck out of you now makes perfect sense, right? It just happens. Like one day you're just trying to live your life. That's all we want to do. And somebody leaves a light on in an empty room. I know all of you are already thinking, oh yes, rolling your eyes or smirking because you know exactly what I'm talking about and you can relate to what I'm talking about, right? But somebody leaves a light on in an empty room and suddenly you say, who left this light on? And then you freeze, okay? Because wait, who said that? Was that me? Oh no. In fact, it's happening because I distinctively remember being younger and thinking, why do adults care so much about lights? It's a light, and now turn it off. Like nobody is in there. Why are we all illuminating an empty room? And that is when you realize, oh my gosh, they got me. So today, we're talking about all those things our parents said growing up that we thought were ridiculous, annoying, dramatic, or just made absolutely no sense until we ourselves became adults. And now, unfortunately, some of that stuff was facts. Okay? I mean, if we can replay from years and years and years ago, our parents were actually telling the truth. So let's start off with one that could ruin a child's entire afternoon. Listen closely. Oh, yes. You could see McDonald's from the back seat, right? And you already knew what you wanted. You had your entire order planned, and here comes your mom. We have food at home. Yeah, but I don't want the food at home. And that's why I'm pointing out McDonald's. And parents always said it like the food at home was somehow comparable. Like, what do you mean we have hamburgers at home? They are not the same hamburgers. Do we have fries? Do we have a Happy Meal box? Or is there a toy involved? No? Okay, then what are we even talking about? But fast forward to adulthood, okay? You have just spent $200 at the grocery store, and somebody says, can we order something? Order what? There is food at home. And suddenly you understand the passion behind the sentence. Because once you have paid for those groceries, honey, those groceries become a personal investments. Okay? You start monitoring produce. Like, who didn't eat all these strawberries? Because I paid $8 for those strawberries and now they're growing fur. Absolutely not. And of course, don't let somebody open the refrigerator, stare into it for 30 seconds and say, yeah, there's nothing to eat. Nothing? Move, okay? Because now I'm pulling ingredients out like we're on Chopped. There is chicken, there is rice, there are vegetables, there are leftovers, which means there are options. You don't mean there's nothing to eat. You mean there's nothing you feel like eating. Okay? Those are two very different financial situations. And somewhere your mother is smiling because now you understand we have food at home. And speaking of wanting things, who remembers getting the speech before you went into an actual store? Okay. You hadn't even unbuckled your seatbelt yet. Your mother would turn around and say, "Don't ask me for nothing when we get in the store. We haven't even gone inside yet. What if I see something?" No. The terms and conditions had already been established in the parking lot, mind you, okay? And God forbid you forgot that you'd get inside, see something you wanted, and start, "Mom," and she would look at you. That's it. No words, just the look. Every child knew the look, right? We all remember that because parents could communicate an entire paragraph with their eyes. That look said, "Did we not discuss this in the car? I know you are not about to embarrass me in this store. And if you keep talking, there will be consequences." All without moving their lips. That, ladies and gentlemen, that is talent. And then you'd see another child acting up in the store. Oh, and your parent would look at you like, "Try it." "No, thank you. I'm actually having a lovely shopping experience." But now I understand the pre-store briefing because you're trying to get 4 things. 4, you have a list. You are trying to stay on budget, and somebody is walking behind you, adding things to the cart like they're a contestant on Supermarket Sweep. No, put it back. We came in here for toothpaste. How do we get to electronics? And suddenly, that parking lot meeting makes all the sense in the world. And you know, parents now, they also had some very interesting ways of explaining finances, right? We've heard this before. Something like, "Do I look like I'm made of money?" Again, as a child, I don't know what answer you're looking for here. No? But I would still like the sneakers. And children, they are fearless when they don't pay bills. You hear me? They are fearless when they don't pay bills. You could ask for anything. New shoes, money for the movies, money for food, something for school. You conveniently remembered at 9:47 p.m. Mind you, that still relates to current day. And any of us that have children now, especially the older ones, you can relate to that, okay? But the ones that conveniently remember, things that are last minute, right? "Oh, by the way, I also need poster board tomorrow." Tomorrow? And you knew about this project for 2 weeks? And somehow this became the parents' emergency. But adulthood it will humble you very quickly because everything costs money. Everything. You leave the house, money. You stay home, somehow still money, right? Your phone sends you a cute little notification. Your subscription has renewed. Excuse me? Who are all these people taking $9.99. Oh, and the worst part is when somebody says, but it's only $10. There goes that word, only. Because let me remind you, $10 has friends. $10 invited 15, and $15 brought $7.99. And now there's a whole party happening in my checking account, and I did not approve the guest list. So no, I am not made of money, and apparently neither were our parents. I mean, who knew, right? Who knew? Now, let's talk about something sacred in a parent's home. I would like to introduce you to the thermostat. You did not touch that thermostat. You didn't even look at it too long because parents somehow had thermostat senses. You could change it 1 degree, and from 3 rooms away. Who touched the thermostat? And you're thinking, how did you know that? I mean, are you spiritually connected to the HVAC system? And then came, put on a sweater, but I'm cold. Put on a sweater, but put on a sweater. And why are we wearing winter clothing inside the house? Turn the heat up. Absolutely not. Because apparently adjusting the thermostat 2 degrees would immediately bankrupt the family. At least that's what I thought then. Now, don't touch my thermostat. Matter of fact, why are you even standing near it? Back up. Like, what do you need? Are you cold? Oh, no problem. Look, there's a blanket. Are you hot? Guess what? Turn on the fan. Because I like to call this now, we have options. And also because now I know what an electric bill looks like. Nobody explained that part when we were 9, 10 years old. And maybe if they'd shown us the bill, we would have had a little bit more respect. Probably not, but maybe. Here's another classic. I know all of you remember this. I am not one of your little friends. Usually this was said immediately after you got a little too comfortable, right? Because sometimes as kids, we forgot who we were even talking to. You'd be laughing, having a good time, feeling yourself, thinking that like everything is just a joke. And then you'd say something with just a little too much spice on it. And suddenly, excuse me, oh, abort mission. I have miscalculated. And then, who are you talking to? And the response is nobody. Apparently nobody. I was talking to the air because that tone you use with your friends, let me let you know it did not travel home with you. And at the time you're thinking, why does everything have to be about respect? But getting older makes you understand boundaries differently, right? You realize you can have a close relationship with somebody, laugh with them, joke with them, give them freedom, and still have boundaries. Those things can exist together. Now, did our parents always communicate those boundaries in the gentlest possible way? Absolutely not. Sometimes I would say the communication strategy was simply, have you lost your mind? Clear. Crystal clear. Very little room for misunderstanding, right? It was concise. It was direct. End of story. And that was it. Right? That was it. And then there was the one we absolutely did not want to hear. Everybody is not your friend. Because yes, they are. You don't know them. They're my best friend. You've known them for 3 weeks, but okay. And somehow, parents could pick up on people before we did. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You would bring somebody around and later your mother says, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that person, okay? And here you are, based on what? She said hello. But then 6 months later, something happens. And you are sitting there like, how did she know? You know why? Because parents had that CIA level intuition. That's what it was. But the older you get, the more you understand that everybody is not your friend isn't necessarily cynical, okay? I would say it's discernment. Everybody you have fun with isn't somebody you confide in. Everybody you work with isn't somebody you bring into your personal life. And sidebar, that is probably one of my favorite ones, if I'm going to be honest. Also, everybody who knows you doesn't deserve to know everything about you. And that is another one too. So true. And sometimes somebody can be perfectly nice and still be your person, or maybe not. Don't let niceness fool you. That lesson actually hits very differently once you've lived a little bit. But don't tell mom she was right. We're not giving away victories that easily, okay? But then there's that one that changes completely. When you become the person doing the worrying, okay? I'm sure that you guys will relate to some of these. How about call me when you get there? Or now, in current day, text me when you get there. Growing up, fine, whatever. Half the time, you'd forget. And then the phone rings. Did you make it? Yes. Then why didn't you call me? I don't know, because I forgot. Now? Oh, now I understand, right? It is very different in today's world, because when you are waiting for somebody you love and you care about to get somewhere safely, time moves differently. You hear? Time moves differently. They say, I should be there around 8. It's now 8:02. Okay, 8:07. 8:13. Let me check my phone. Now we're already at 8:21. And now your imagination has created an entire storyline that nobody asked for. And now it is 8:24. Made it. Oh, okay. Have fun. Meanwhile, I have aged 7 years. And that is when you understand your parents, they were not trying to annoy you. Our parents just wanted to know we were okay. That little I'm here gives somebody who loves you permission to exhale. And that one makes a lot more sense now. It definitely does. But I think the funniest part of all of this is when you hear one of their sayings come out of your own mouth, right? Because I hear myself saying some of these things too. And you gotta just sit with yourself for a second and kind of laugh at it, because You sound just like your mom or your dad because you don't plan it. It just comes out. Close the door. I'm not heating the whole neighborhood, or were you born in a barn? Oh my gosh. Or somebody says they're bored and suddenly, I can find something for you to do. Who am I? And let's not even talk about because I said so. Because we all swore we would never, ever say that. We were going to explain everything. We were going to be different. And then one day somebody asked why for approximately the 37th time. And out it comes, because I said so. Period. And as soon as you say it, you hear your parent, clear as day. And that's the moment. That's when you know they've won, right? That is when you know that they have won. And somewhere your mother or your father is sitting peacefully, completely unaware that the prophecy has been fulfilled. But, underneath all the funny sayings, I think there is something else you start understanding as you get older, that our parents were figuring life out too. And as kids, we thought that we knew everything. They were the adults. They had the answers. They made the rules. But then you become an adult one day and realize, oh, there is no handbook. They were making decisions, worrying, working, trying to stretch money, trying to protect us, trying to teach us things we didn't want to learn yet, and probably hoping that something they said would eventually stick. And apparently it did, because guess what? Hello, here we are, turning off lights, protecting thermostats, eating the food at home, telling people to text us when they get there, and quietly realizing, okay, some of that stuff really did make sense. Not all of it. Let's be very clear, okay? I'm not handing over the entire one, but enough of it. Enough that every now and then you have one of those moments where you think, okay, mom, or okay, dad, or okay, grandma, or okay, granddad. I get it now. I get it. This was just something that now, being an adult, not only do you understand what your parents were trying to tell you and share with you, but more importantly, now you understand it. Now it actually makes sense. So now I want to hear from you all. I want to hear in the comments, what is something your parents used to say to you that drove you absolutely crazy when you were younger, but now as an adult, you completely understand? And also, you also get bonus points if you've caught yourself saying it too, because that's when you know you've officially crossed over. So if this episode resonated with you, or you know somebody that it would, please make sure that you share this episode with them. And as always, make sure that you tune in next week, same time, same place. Don't forget to pull up. And until then, make sure that you take care of you, and I will see you soon. Bye.